So we go under center, play action pass, flush from the pocket. Now, you see the safety loses eye discipline during the scramble. So up top, easy throw, gets beat clean. Should never get beat there. Should never get beat there. But that's the NFL, right? You see the quarterback, he starts moving. It's how easy is it to get your eyes caught and not just have an understanding where the receiver is, even if it's a guy like that. We go under center again. Now you got under center plus movement, and you're just giving time for Jefferson to get over the top. You just want him to get on that deep crosser. So he's got time. He's moving up in the pocket. He's almost at the line of scrimmage when he throws the football. This is a long developing play, and he has time. Again, gets his drop, shows the ball, turns around, gets flushed up a little bit. You see a lot of defensive ends being able to press high on the pocket, and he steps up, but you don't see what you want to see is the collapse and make him exit out the back. We'll see if the Packers are able to do that this week. We go under center again, and you just see there's a lot of deeper throws because of the space between the linebackers and the secondary. There's just so much space there. Hawkinson runs the dig now, and he runs that at 16 yards. And there's just nobody in between. It's not a window throw. It's throw to the guy with man coverage. It's easy, relatively speaking. Under center, we got a 2 tight end look here. Play action pass. And now you've got 1, 2, 3 on 1, 2, 3, and they're just going to leak Aaron Jones out to the sideline. Everybody's accounted for. Linebacker lost him. Got caught staring at the quarterback again. He's out. Now we got another 10-yard gain. So Darnold's doing a great job of just identifying, throwing to the open man, finding the guy who's got the mismatch. I think they just do that really well. We go shotgun, tight end attached, and trips look on the bottom. And now we get in his grill a little bit. We saw this last time we did the show, the preview for the Vikings. Not nearly as effective, in my opinion. Now, I don't know what the numbers say. I'm just talking about what would you rather see all day? I'd rather see him in shotgun all day and have to kind of bounce around the pocket and get antsy and see the rush coming. One of the things that people don't talk about is like the quarterback having to look at the rush versus going to under center play action pass and not having to look at that one of those is a lot harder than the other, just from a mental standpoint. So they shift the nose tackle over. The Packers got to be watching this play and going, okay, we can do this because the left guard sets flat. And so they just run a quick pick stunt. Real easy. And he can't get across. So they're just running, we call this a mesh tackle game. When I mean mesh, I mean 91's not going to pick the guard. The guard's going to pick himself with his crap stand, with his set. So he sets flat. Williams goes in. The center can't come over. Guard's there, but not good enough. And they get meshed. So 91's just trying to beat his guy. And you're basically saying, I think I can beat the center. I'm going to make sure that the guard can't help because he sets so flat. You got under center look again. Got to be sound here. So they're going to run the toss crack, and they're going to run this cat fire by the wide receiver up top. That hanger, I think that's a safety on the logo. That hanger's got to get outside leverage, and he's got to get it now. They find the cat go. Can't get butted up and pushed off the ball by the wide receiver. So he loses leverage and vertical leverage. So he starts on the 41. He ends up on the 43, 44. That's a big deal. That's a lot of time and space for Aaron Jones. He gets another 8 yards after he passes that safety. Look at it from this perspective again. There's no need for that. You cut the play, get it now. You run in the cat. You have the outside contain. Got to take it. Alley player has to make the play. They motion out. And instead of being high, this is what we're always talking about with Green Bay, compress the damn pocket. You don't need to be over the top. You want Sam Darnold to, if Sam Darnold ran behind the defensive ends to escape the pocket all the time, you'd be thrilled out of your mind as opposed to being able to run forward. But because you run high, you just step into the throw. And again, look how much space there is here. The 30-yard line is where you got the nearest lineman or running back or linebacker. And we're going to break on the ball at the 15, the 12, sorry, and come back to the 17, 18 to catch it. Under center again. They're going to stress this first play of the game. Under center. They're going to stress this corner by running this guy inside. He follows. Whoops. Easy play. 10-yard, 9-yard gain. I think this is their first fourth down play on their first series. So I don't have a great picture of this, but they're going to run the pick up front. It's really just a scissors concept, but they run the scissors and then they run the out with Hawkinson here. This is a 4th and 3, I believe. So they run the scissors and then they run the out, right? And there's nobody who's going to make that play. We saw this kind of with Josh Jacobs. We threw it a little faster, but it ends up just, for me, this is literally just a toss sweep. It is showing a different way to do it. I like how teams are doing this now. So they bring the fullback across and they let him release over the top, talking about Jones, and they just throw him the ball right now. It's just effectively a toss sweep. The center gets out. Easy. I think it's easy yards for yard average, but I really think it's an effective way to get the ball outside. Then you just love this with the eye discipline again. So they run the fake toss. They don't even have Darnold fake it. They just run, the fullback comes across. They run the running back on the toss. The linebacker, eye discipline. And so they just bring the receiver right underneath. He sits down in the zone. Touchdown. And that's really all these guys are doing. I mean, they're doing a really nice job of executing some simple concepts at a high level. They have a very good understanding of who they are. We always talk about with the Green Bay Packers early in the season, understanding what the skill set of each receiver was, for example, what the skill set of Josh Jacobs was, for example, and trying to get, kind of get in sync. I think Kevin O'Connell has a very good understanding of the skill set of Sam Darnold, the ability of their offensive line, and then certainly the skill set of their amazing receiver core and tight end core with Hawkins. So very, very good team. I think they average 25 points a game or something like that. They're I don't know which team gets more recognition, but they're both extremely talented. A couple questions from the fans again, guys who put these in. I always appreciate it. I just got a couple here. Packers play to win or rest for the playoffs. I think I know the answer, but I think you always play to win in these football games. I just don't know. I don't imagine going out in a Minnesota football game and not playing to win. Now, there's still a question if they're going to be the 5 seed or the 6 seed. And if Minnesota loses both with the head-to-head, there's a way that they can be the 5 seed. I think you're looking at the Falcons or the Rams. If it's me, I'm going, even Penix goes and plays well, but I'm looking to play the Falcons over the Rams because I don't want to play Stafford in the playoffs because you just don't know what's going to happen with Stafford. And I think they got everybody healthy over there. So life looks a bit different when the Rams are healthy. I really like the defensive line for the Rams, quite frankly, and you have to go there. So there's an advantage there. The two defensive ends they got are really, really – Jared Verse is playing really good. He's a little bit slow. He slowed down a little bit. I think this is his rookie year out of Florida State, but he's playing really well. He's playing really well earlier in the season. But all things being equal, you'd prefer, I think, to go play against the Falcons than go play against the Rams. But first and foremost, you're always trying to win football games, especially when you're playing a division rival and a team like the Vikings. And there's just no time to go half-ass with anything and get guys hurt and blah, 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 blah. And you're just, quite frankly, you're not a good enough as well as you played against the Saints. By the way, the disparity in like good and bad teams in the National Football League now is ridiculous. For a team, for a league that likes parity, like I don't know in the last 20 years I've ever seen the difference in level between like the Saints. The difference between the Saints and the Eagles or the Packers or the Vikings or the Lions, you're just like this. That is one of the worst productive football teams I've seen in a long time. And there's a handful of them out there. You see the game between the Ravens and I think the Texans, like the Texans quarterback's just going through something right now. But that game last night was an I mean, Lamar, and it's the Texans are a good team. They're in the playoffs. But the Lamar Jackson and the Josh, they're on different levels right now. And it's like it used to be like this, and now it's absurd. I just don't think you can take a week off right now in the situation with the age of the Packers, the playoff experience of the Packers, all of that. You're playing to win this game. How do you think the Packers can attack the Minnesota defense? Well, I think first and foremost in Minnesota is a different ball game. Snap count, identification of pressure, communication with the center, all of that. Who's making the calls? Is Josh Myers have his head under the center? All of those things matter when you're in Minnesota. When his head down? Does he have to look up and snap the football? Is what I'm trying to say. All of that matters. Protection calls and communication. If you can, one-on-one, I don't feel like they have a team that you're really stressing over as far as pass pro, and you can throw the ball against them if you can stand upright. They get pressure on in crucial situations and make you throw. So do you have answers when it's 3rd and 8? Do you have answers? If it's 2nd and 15, do you have answers to get down to 3rd and 6? Do you have answers at 3rd and 6, 4 to 6 that are in the run game? So are there different ways for you to attack this defense that don't involve Jordan Love having to drop straight back? I think that's the question. If the answer is yes, I think you have a chance at attacking that defense for sure. And then we got a bunch of things about the playoffs and the seedings and this and that. And I don't think there's any way that the playoffs go through Green Bay. Well, they're the 6th seed, so how does that work? If they're the 6th seed, does anything go through Green Bay? I mean, I guess the 7th seed, so the 7th beat the 2. There's some weird way there, but I have to be honest with you. Some people pay a lot of attention to the playoff seedings, and this like I'm meat and potatoes guy, man. Who's next week? Like who we got next week? Who you got in the playoffs? The rest of it doesn't really matter. There's no reason to look for, especially this time of the year. There's just no reason to look forward. If you're in the locker room, I promise you're worried about the guys in front of you this week. You're not worried about next week. You're not looking forward to next week. So I don't know if I ever lost that, or I should say, I don't know if I ever became a more sophisticated follower of sport. Favorite by one. You got a chance, guys. Thanks for watching. Michael68 on Twitter, Process Perform on Instagram. Check out the show, subscribe, rate, review, smash that subscribe button. And thanks to Bet Online. Guys, enjoy the game.